There are crazy things happening in the market. And today is the day to share with you some news and context with that news. Now, many of you weren't here last bear market, and so you might be rightly asking yourself, is this what bear markets are like? And the answer is yes and no. Now, it's clear that U.S. regulators have declared war on crypto. Doubt me? Well, I look forward to sharing some evidence with you, as well as discussing what the last bear market was like, because there are many similarities. There is some actual hope, a glimmer of hope on the horizon that might be really big, and we'll talk about that too. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. If you like money in crypto and you're looking for a seasoned investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. Do note, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself. Now, we do want to thank our Patreon members. We just finished having our pre-live stream a little bit ago, and, I love the interaction. I love the private Discord that we have for our Patreon members. There's really, really good information on there. Some brilliant people on there that post alpha in there that's truly amazing. Now, make it rain on that like button if you haven't already, and strap in for the show. Now, interestingly enough, prior to the last U.S. presidential election, Mike Novogratz, who a lot of us in the space looked up to because, well, he's a very seasoned investor and went big on crypto back when ETH launched. And so he'd been in the space for a long time, as well as he had made his fortune prior to crypto and made an absolute fortune after. Well, he shared with the entire crypto space that he felt the Biden administration would be, if Biden won, would be very pro-crypto and good for crypto. Well, now, can we all agree that he is correct on that, as Neville Chamberlain was on Germany's intentions in Neville Chamberlain's speech in 1938? Because the Biden administration is absolutely waging war on crypto in the back room, in the back alleys, using many of their departments that they either have control or influence over, and the department heads of those to go after. Let me share with you this letter. This actually came across this from one of our members in the private Discord that shared this. And I find this letter insightful. So this comes from Tom Emmer. Today I sent a letter to FDIC Chairman Grunberg regarding reports that the FDIC is weaponizing recent instability in the banking sector to purge legal crypto activity from the U.S. Thank goodness we frickin' have some politicians here backing us up. Thank you, Tom Emmer. Interesting. Says recent reports indicate that the federal financial regulators have effectively weaponized their authority over the last several months to purge legal digital asset entities and opportunities from the United States. During the recent closure of the digital asset and tech center banks like Silvergate, Signature Bank, and Silicon Valley Bank, individuals from across the industry, including former House Financial Services Committee Chairman Barney Frank, the co-author of the Dodd-Frank Act, and one of my least favorite U.S. politicians. Well, they have highlighted the targeted nature of these regulatory efforts to single out financial institutions and send a message to get people away from crypto. If this is the case, these actions to weaponize recent instability in the banking sector, catalyzed by catastrophic government spending and unprecedented interest rate hikes, are deeply inappropriate and could lead to broader financial instability. So thank you, Representative Emmer, for bringing attention to this. Yes, so it wasn't just us in the crypto space feeling this. I don't know that Emmer's particularly in the crypto space, but definitely seeing what's going on and saying something. Interesting. And this goes on. I don't want to read it all to you. Very, very interesting thing by Tom Emmert here. What the H is going on? Now, we've known for a while that Gary Gensler was absolutely going after crypto for a while, and it's just become more apparent how he seems to be seeking to derail it. And also his statements of what his intentions are don't add up with his actions. And whenever that's the case, that's what gaslighting is. So Gary Gensler is absolutely going after crypto, and he's not giving us the full story on why he is. And don't we all find it so odd that did he have 13 different discussions with Sam Bankman-Fried, one of the biggest frauds in the crypto industry, and that's who he was talking with to make this plan of how to regulate and bring the crypto space out of the Wild West. So it's kind of like he was talking to the outlaws about how to bring order to this space. Yeah, Gary, we see what you're up to. Now, we frequently in the crypto space talk about regulation by enforcement. That's what they've been doing. And that's a tool used by regulators that are trying to remove you because they're not trying to provide clarity for you and create simple, fair laws. They are regulating by enforcement as punishment. Well, if they're trying to punish you and not create clarity for you, they're trying to remove you. We didn't know until recently that the U.S. Federal Reserve, though, was going after crypto, and we're now learning from Tom Emmert that maybe the FDIC as well. Now, this has created a lot of genuine fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is what we call FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So how is this all going to turn out? Well, thankfully, the actual sector that these regulators were in charge of regulating seems to be in their own potentially world-altering meltdown, despite being in such an extremely highly regulated environment. In other words, it seems that the Federal Reserve and the SEC have been completely asleep at the wheel over what they're supposed to be doing as they tried to work on ways to destroy crypto. Now, Bitcoin was developed as an alternative store of value and possible currency, and that alternative, Bitcoin, would have no traction if the US dollar wasn't being misused and abused by the US federal government. So what is the government going to do about it? Well, they're not trying to fix itself. They're just attacking the alternative. And though I hate to say it, that is so predictable. What else is predictable? That they can't win without fixing the dollar, and yet they're making no efforts to fix it. How would they fix it? Well, stop spending more than they take in revenues, leading to just printing off massive amounts of it, which that's not going to stop. So therefore, ultimately, Bitcoin is going to win. It's not a question of if. It would be a question of if the U.S. would stop ruining the dollar, but they and every other country are absolutely destroying their fiat. Now, it looks like they're trying to get to a reset where they can just reset and use the new Fed now, which is a central bank digital currency or a lead into a central bank digital currency. Yeah, I don't trust that. Now, how does this all relate to the last bear market? Well, in the last bear market, China and India were the ones trying to ban crypto. And they have gigantic populations, much, much bigger than the US does. So, different year, different countries, not so different fun. US has more financial reach, and that's the concern. But the truth is, crypto is going to go on. Bitcoin is going to win because the US is not fixing their dollar. And altcoins are going to win because the technology that they bring allows the internet to do far more than it could without it. And that's where this is going. Now, there is some great news on the horizon, and that is, well, if you think about the last bull market, when did it happen? Well, when the U.S. printer started printing like crazy. It wasn't just the U.S. printer. It was a lot of governments' printers printing like crazy. What is the U.S. about to do? Probably print like crazy in order to save some of these banks. What is that going to do? Inject a whole lot of liquidity in the market. Where does liquidity go? Well, usually to solid assets. I don't know, assets like Bitcoin, interestingly enough. So, as crazy as the attack has been, and probably this attack has been coordinated by these different sector heads for a while, going after crypto, it's absolutely crumbling because what they're supposed to be protecting is crumbling right underneath their feet. And it's muting their credibility. It's also, they're going to have to turn their focus back to where it's supposed to be in order to try to get a handle on everything that's crumbling right beneath their feet. So this banking crisis is kind of a blessing in disguise, because otherwise their attack on crypto would probably have more success. All right, let me jump to some comments because we are live. Justin, I love it. Silly Billy Gary. Interestingly enough, let me share this. It's so funny. When I looked up this article by Tom Emmer, right? Guess who comes? You might like Gary Gensler shows up here. Oh, come on. I don't know. Anyone ever ask whether Voldemort had a brother? Just a thought. Just a thought. All right. Justin also asks, what you comment online will eventually factor into your social credit score? Probably, right? I'm doomed. I talked bad about Voldemort's brother. My social credit score is going to be in the tank. But you can all help me out by liking this video. So I appreciate it if you do that. Let's get to some other news. Stardust Runner gave me a batch of some great different articles that I went through this morning and picked out some I want to share. U.S. banking turmoil halts NFT hype as DeFi thrives. So what's interesting is it has turned people's attention back to DeFi. Why? Because everyone's mind is on banks right now. And, NFTs have kind of gotten... The NFTs were starting to raise in price and people were talking about them. Yeah, not anymore. A lot of the thoughts are on banking, DeFi, because what is DeFi is decentralized banking, in other words. And so a lot of attention is going to DeFi, and it's talking about DeFi surge as Silicon Valley Bank was crashing and USDC depegged. The DeFi winners, it says Uniswap, 1inch Network. NFTs are down. Interesting. With the recent price rise in Bitcoin, now 74% of Bitcoin holders are in the money as price explodes above $26,000. Very, very interesting. Another good article is interesting about this because I think about where NFTs are going to go, right? So I don't know. Some of you were around for the 90s and like the dot-com boom and then bust when there was pressure on all these companies to get websites as the internet really took off, right? So around 1996, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, it's like, hey, do you have a web presence? How good is your web presence? You need to have one. You need to have one was the statement, everyone. So a lot of companies are getting into Web3 and they're trying to get into NFTs and other things. So this is talking about Nissan looking at some different plans about creating virtual goods such as clothes, cars, headgear, trading cards, toys, tickets, and non-fungible token marketplace for trading and minting NFTs. That'd be interesting. I don't know that individual auto companies going super huge on creating their own marketplaces is the right place to be, but participating in it, absolutely. Because NFTs and where it's going with video games and other things, I mean, if you're an automaker, don't you want to be able to make really good virtual reality or augmented reality or 3D versions of your vehicles that people can play around with? They can try some different upgrades on, put some different colors on it, and they can play around with. That way they can really try it before they buy it, type of thing. And it's not a bad idea to really give them good access for that, right? Yeah. Customers can visit the virtual storefront 24 hours a day. A good virtual storefront that allows them to like test drive in augmented reality some of the different vehicles would be a great idea. Maybe having a test track and having their different vehicles, and people can go and drive them around. I don't know. That seems like maybe that would work. Them making their own marketplace, so you're going to be able to mint all these different NFTs. I don't know. This is an interesting one I want to talk about. YouTube influencer, y'all know who this is, slapped with $1 billion lawsuit for promoting FTX. Boy, this was a mess up of epic proportions. Why? Because he did not promote FTX. In fact, he was part of helping show what a fraud it was. And so there's a class action lawsuit led by a law firm. And they included BitBoy in this, which was absolutely the wrong move, because BitBoy absolutely called out FTX. And, should they even be able to go after the influencers who did promote FTX? Well, only if they knew about how fraudulent it was. But I don't know. Gary Gensler, head of the FCC, talked to Sam Bankman-Fried 13 different times. And should Gary Gensler be included in that too? Like, these people that promoted FTX, did they know about the fraud it was? I don't know. I think they're just going after them because these influencers that have really big channels make good money, and they hope to get some kind of plea deal. And in class action lawsuits, the ones who actually make the money are the lawyers, because they end up keeping like a third. And so really what's left split amongst all the different people who are in the class action lawsuit, they don't make very much. But that's so funny. BitBoy has mad meme potential is all. Yes. Now, Coinbase explores overseas venue as U.S. ramps up crypto scrutiny. This is the interesting thing about money. So when politicians go after those with money, what do those with money do? They leave. They leave the country. Why? Hey, you're going to make it hard for me to operate a business here. I'll go operate it somewhere else. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm out. So the U.S. cannot stop crypto. They would have to get every other country on board with it. They don't have the social power to do that. It's not going to work. I'm sure they'll try. And so these companies are going to go somewhere else, and some other country is going to be like, yes, please, move your business here, move your money here. By all means, yes, we love you. And so what is the U.S. going to do? Are they going to stop crypto? No. They might completely crush the future of the U.S. economy by forcing all the crypto technology companies to move out of it, but they're not going to stop crypto. All right. The U.S. banking crisis could strengthen crypto long-term, experts say. Isn't that right? Okay, let me read some of this to you. Some digital asset firms may move to countries that are more receptive to new financial technology, one observer said. Yes, that. Brushing off bearish sentiment that has emerged in crypto circles over the past few days, some market observers say the breakdown of crypto-focused banks can have benefits for the crypto ecosystem over the long term. Last week, stocks fell as regulators shut down Silicon Valley Bank after investors withdrew their deposits en masse. The news hit the crypto markets a day later when traders reacted to reports that USD Coin or USDC issuer Circle Internet Financial held over $3.3 billion in reserves at Silicon Valley Bank. That led to the USDC redemptions and to the price of the coin, which is supposed to be pegged to $1, falling as low as 87 cents. In a separate move, crypto-focused Signature Bank was shut down by regulators over the weekend. The collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank came shortly after Silvergate Bank, another bank that dealt mainly with crypto, imploded. Signature is now on the market, but any potential buyer reportedly has to agree to a major caveat: no services to crypto companies. But founders and developers of crypto firms remain focused on expanding the crypto universe despite the scrutiny. In the near term, this unbanking could add to the increased regulatory scrutiny on crypto and the banking rails that serve crypto, and closer scrutiny of crypto contributions to systemic risk. It will also increase scrutiny on stable coins, ... But this is all short term. It may end up having the opposite effect as exchanges and other players in the industry move offshore to jurisdictions that are courting financial technology innovators, leading to more robust infrastructure and less hostility. Exactly what we were saying. Interesting that China shut down all of crypto, and even after they did that, 20% of mining was still coming from Chinese IP addresses. In other words, still out of China. So even you can make it illegal and you can't even completely stop it. Top crypto app downloads rise over 15% following Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Meanwhile, banking app downloads dipped. Why? Because it's becoming apparent to people who didn't really pay attention during 2008 and prior to that, the savings and loan crisis of the 80s, that fractional reserve lending can be a house of cards, and it is. That's not the only thing going wrong with the fiat system. That's just one of the things. Kathy Woods gets Elon Musk nod after slamming regulatory failure over banking crisis. A lot of similarities to 1929. Kathy Woods says they should have been all over the crisis that was looming in plain sight. Asset and liability duration mismatches as short rate soared 19-fold in less than a year, and deposits in the banking system were falling on a year-over-year basis for the first time since the 1920s. Elon Musk responds, lot of current year similarities to 1929. Yeah. Interesting. So, another thought, this isn't an article, but this is where I think the power of VV and some NFTs are. And while I was doing some research earlier on Twitter, like this came up, and I just thought about why VV has been successful like it is. And it's the power of memes, right? And the power to create one. So here you have, what's his name? Howard the Duck. I forget what toy this is. This is one of the Marvel Mighties or something. I can't remember. And then they have the ether box here. So they pieced all these things together, right? So this looks like a platform from a golden statue, which maybe they have the golden statue flipped upside down. So somebody took all this effort to piece together all these pieces. They put the Star Wars New Hope behind it in order to make this whole meme. Yeah, this is the power of VV. And I just want to share my thoughts on it. The power of the showcases, right? And being able to play around with that and bring in multiple IPs and essentially create a picture of that. I hope as they work on their VV verse, that's where it goes. I did get an invite to the Master Collector Program thing. So when I logged in today, I could see my score. In fact, I'll share that with you guys. Give me just a minute. Here we go. All right. So apparently I'm a starter. Master Collector points level 35. I've got 64 full sets. Now, my wife does have some stuff, and we're going to end up combining our accounts. So it might be a few more full sets that come in, a few more collectibles and comments. And I do have a second Spider-Man secret rare that's in her account. It was just more easy at the time to put it in her account because I bought it from, I can't remember. I think when I tried to deposit funds into mine, it wasn't working. So we put them into hers and bought it off the market. So anyway, yeah, master collector point total balance, almost 220,000. Interesting. So yeah, members since March 3rd, 2021. All right. So let me see in the comments. Tobias Singh says Modak is the name of the egg. Got it. I forgot I had seen that one, but I couldn't remember what it was. All right. I haven't paid as much attention to the collectibles because there are being a ton of them minted, and I'm only looking for grails anymore. A lot of the stuff I invest in the early seasons because that's where the most value is, especially season 1. VV, I've invested a lot more than just season 1 because some of their better stuff has come out later. But right now, I feel like their OMI token is the thing that's massively discounted. And the collectibles are like, some of them I'll try to pick up as some of the hype flows away from them and people are moving on to something else. Like I'd like to get a bunch of the Lamborghinis, but I'm just waiting till they get out of, like, people are just kind of moving on to something, some new release coming out, and the prices dip down. All right. What is on your guys' mind? We also have the Wanchain giveaway to do. I've got a great question for the Wanchain giveaway. Anything on your minds, or we'll get right to the Wanchain giveaway. Now, the rules for the Wanchain giveaway is the first person with the correct answer that shows up on my screen. Why? Well, because the answer shows up immediately on your screen, so we can't use your screen because everyone might have different results that way. So it goes by the first one that shows up on my screen. We'll be giving away 125 won to our winner. And if we haven't already communicated on Telegram, that's how I'm going to get your Wanchain address or MetaMask address for the winner, because you can't post it in the comments here. So I will need your Telegram so that I can touch base with you and get your Wanchain address or MetaMask address in order to send you some Wanchain. Drum roll. In fact, I actually think I have some sounds here. I haven't used them a ton, but here's a question for you. If you go to Wanchain's Twitter and check out their latest Twitter, in a post from about an hour ago, they show sending Bitcoin from what or which chain to then the Bitcoin chain. Oh, did the wrong sound play? That's funny. Just label this drum roll. I've got a few other ones. While we're waiting on that, let's see what we got. I can't hear them. So we got this for whenever I say something funny, which is all the time. All right. You guys were fast this week. Ryan S. is our winner. Tobias was right after that, but I think spell check got him. But like Ryan S., congrats, Ryan. You are a winner. I wanted to share this. Like, it's really exciting what they're doing. Connecting up all these chains together, and the technology behind what they're doing is amazing with a trustless bridge system. So they sent 1.49 Bitcoin. The cost ended up being $2.42. The time it took just 5 minutes and 27 seconds to send it from Avalanche over to the Bitcoin network. You know what, Wanchain? I should make the question, why the hell, like, give me a good answer why Wanchain's token isn't over $1 or $2 already. Because, like, what they're doing is amazing. I feel like they're undervalued because they've connected up so many different ones. Now, I feel like they're doing a good story with this hashtag we're all connected and the marketing that they've been doing the last couple months, just showing like things like this, just helping people see how this all works together. So a lot of it has been doing the work behind so that they have so many chains connected up, and that's what they've been doing. I feel like they've been doing a great job getting the word out as these different things are connected up so they can show use cases like, oh, I think I didn't have my screen shared when I was sharing that. But use cases like this. So they sent 1.49 Bitcoin. It cost them $2.42 total. They broke down all the costs too. Here were the gas fees on Avalanche that it cost to send it. So it cost that much in AVAX. It cost that much on the Bitcoin network. So they sent this and received just barely under that. Like, that is amazing. And I think this hashtag we're all connected as they go through these different things on their X flows. Like, yeah, it's really cool. I feel like they've been telling their story really well. Sean ZZ asked if I was talking about Harmony One. No, One Chain. All right. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Yes. Tobias says people are sleeping on One big time. They are. They are. Most people weren't around when One Chain was like the biggest release of 2017, or one of the biggest releases, because this idea of cross-chain compatibility was such a big problem. All these different third generation blockchains were releasing ETH and Bitcoin. They had no ability to communicate between each other. And here, OneChain is doing everything they said they were going to do. But people have forgotten about that, right? So often what happens is at some point it comes back in the narrative and it goes from being undervalued to then extremely overvalued, which holding from one swing to the other, from the undervalued to the overvalued, can lead to some good returns. All right. Any other thoughts on your guys' mind? Those were some of the thoughts on my mind this Friday. And what are the correlations between the last bear market and this one? Every bear market has a bunch of FUD, and you're concerned about whether you're right. Like, is this going to come back? Is it going to succeed? And the truth is, we don't know for sure. There's risk there. I mean, an EMP could melt down the whole electrical, like lots of EMPs could melt down the electrical grids and things get impaired. And the last thing would on people's mind at that point would be digital money, because shoot, they'd be worrying about actual goods and services. There are things that could happen that would derail everything. But they would be very severe things that would impact all the different places that your money is. So, yeah. Now, is there a chance that stuff happens? Yeah, it might be like a 0.1% chance. So 99.9% chance that's not what happens, as far as like EMPs going off all over the world and ruining the whole internet infrastructure and electronic infrastructure. But other things could happen too. And so you just have to take strategic odds and think like an investor. Okay, what are the chances of those things happening? Okay, what are the chances that we're just in this cycle and that the rains will come again, just like farmers had to worry about it every year? Hey, will the rains come in the spring? Will all these crops that I'm planting, will it all end up working out? There's no guarantees. Maybe they go through a drought. Maybe there's hardly any rain all spring and summer, and all the seed they put into the ground was going to die. Yeah, that happens sometimes, just not very often. So you have to take strategic risks and strategic bets and play the odds. That's what we do. Tommy Vesper says, I see Binance doing some housekeeping, getting rid of some alts. Maybe we can get OMI listed soon. That depends on if David does the docu sign. Any swing trade plays you're looking at? I'm looking on loading up on a bunch of Illuvium. Immutable X has continued running up. I do think Illuvium will come down some more, right? So they did a recent Illuvitar's launch, and their token had pumped, and it's kind of going out of narrative, which is where I like it. Unfortunately, Immutable X, a lot of people have been talking about it, too many people, and the price has run up. That's not when I like to buy. I like to buy when nobody's talking about it. What's way down? I'm a big fan of Bumper. I've had them on a number of times. Hey, look, like if all these stable coins get shut down, does that mess up what Bumper's trying to do? It could. Now, ultimately, they created a new way of doing things that I think will change the world, but that will be a massive setback if all the stable coins end up getting taken out, because everything they're planning is in their system works with stable coins. And it's hard to kind of patent ideas, because what they have is an idea of how to solve a problem, and their idea is going to be world changing. Does it end up getting implemented in crypto first? I hope so. But if all the stable coins get yanked out of the system somehow, that could slow things down. Now, do I think the regulators will be successful in that? Well, I watched an interview with Jeremy Allaire, right? And he talked about saving crypto from the banking system, because it is exactly the banking system and the failures of the banking system that caused USDC to depeg, combined with the fact that regulators had shut down, Silvergate banks, like 24/7 thing where they could exchange things. So it's kind of the regulators messing up things, as well as the banking system messing up things for crypto. And there's a lot more politicians that have deep relations with the banking industry than the crypto industry right now. So clearly there's some politicians that are looking out for crypto because it's the right thing to do, but there are deep entrenched interests that will try to protect banking at all costs. Did I see Janet Yellen recently? Geez, no, I didn't. What did she do? That gal, I have to figure she's actually pretty smart, but since her current job, I think she's been like Susan Rice, where Susan Rice historically was sent out on all these TV shows to say that the Benghazi thing was all about some video from a guy in Florida, an anti-Muslim, former Muslim, whatever, and that, the whole Benghazi thing was a reaction to that, which was a total lie. And Obama was president at the time, and so Susan Rice was kind of sent out to say what the White House wanted her to say, even though it was completely untrue, and it totally got exposed as completely untrue, and they were just gaslighting. How did Janet Yellen not see inflation coming? I can't believe that she didn't see it coming. What I can believe is that she was told to say she didn't, that nobody thought it would be coming back when, before it was actually there. Because how could one person get it wrong so much if she was actually using her brain rather than just saying whatever they were telling her to say? All right. Everyone, thank you. That's all I've got for this week. Shorter episode than normal. Still got a rap for you all that I'm going to play. Really, if you listen to the words to this rap, they were written deliberately, incorporated in how I think about not just the crypto market, but the real estate market and timing, and that we all come into a market when like everything's pumping. That's just how it happens. And then the smart people kind of realize they had made some mistakes. They admit their mistakes and they stick around and they learn how to become good at it, right? So all of you are still here during the crypto winter. You should congratulate yourself for that. And so now you're in the part of, hey, everything is down. You're learning how to be good in this space, how to take educated guesses, how to stick with your convictions, how to sometimes recognize when your convictions were wrong and change. And so you're learning how to be good, and you're in the right place at the right time, because I do think the rains will come again. And when they do, it could be massive. Now, maybe we get something in the short term because all this money coming in the market might stimulate, of all things, the crypto market that the regulators are trying to destroy. But they're a good hedge against the banking industry, which seems to be destroying itself. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you soon.
chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit, buy before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always made the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, but time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, studying to know that nothing comes easy, but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, but time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough, and that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.